This is ST-321, code clearance blue. We're starting our approach to deactivate the security shield.
Hi, I'm Paul and I'm with my mate James and welcome to Code Clearance Blue, a show where we discuss all things Star Wars from our home here in the UK.
We would be honoured if you would join us.
I've been looking forward to this.
Welcome everybody to a new episode of Code Clearance Blue with myself, James and Paul. Hope you're all doing well out there, wherever you are in the galaxy. Got pressing matters to attend to be honest with you. It's the finale of Andor. That's it, isn't it, mate? That's it. And we've watched episode 10, so we're into double digits.
Yep, double digits.
Also, this is Virgin Territory. Episode 10, never heard of it.
True, it is, isn't it? Make it stop. Stop or my mum will shoot. It's the episode title.
Do you know, I watched that again like maybe 2 or 3 years ago because it was on Netflix. My God.
Is it bad?
It's so bad that it's good, obviously.
I don't think I ever saw it. I just remember it being like whatever VHS I was getting at the time. I can't remember whatever one was, that sort of repeated rental, you just keep going back to the video shop to rent the same film.
Yeah.
It's always the trailer. That and the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, right? The two trailers on this particular film.
Oh yeah.
And, I never saw either film, but I did. I know the trailers really well.
Superb. I always remember the poster for Stop or My Mum Will Shoot.
Yes.
And the trailer for Killer Tomatoes. Yeah. Is that right? George Clooney's in Killer Tomatoes? Isn't he?
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah.
Brilliant.
There we go. So there we go, everybody. A little bit of 80s, 90s. Probably more 80s, probably. I don't know, but
I recommend it. It's Sylvester Stallone in like an action comedy where he basically lives with his mum.
Yeah,
classic.
Great.
I think it's one of the Golden Girls, isn't it? I think.
I don't know.
I think so.
Right.
Anywho,
so yeah, cool. Well, let's get cracking. We can have a little review what we thought of episode 10 then.
Yeah. So pretty good. Again, setting things up, but. My God, there's a lot of heavy lifting in there as well. To be fair, so yeah, I really enjoyed it, and a good way to kick things off, really, wasn't it? So we'll just start with a little signal coming through.
Yeah, so it was quite. I mean, it's, like you say, it was sort of straight into it 1 year on, and then have you noticed with the graphics, like at the beginning, they always have the Ferrex sort of bell noise, which I always thought was quite a good touch.
Yeah.
Which I forgot to mention on previous pods, but I think that's quite a nice little touch. But yeah, it sort of goes straight into ISB land and Coruscant, and we're just straight into it, aren't we? I felt like this one, because obviously the last batch, it felt like it was building up to this sort of crescendo, which it did. Whereas this one, I felt it was sort of the opposite, because obviously it has to then lead in, which I thought was quite nice, you know what I mean? It's like the last episode was actually a bit calmer at the end, you know what I mean? Whereas obviously each one has been doing this sort of slow first ep, good second ep, you know what I mean? Bridging and then really hitting a crescendo. Whereas, this batch was quite good, which makes sense because it's the end, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you've called it pretty spot on, because obviously there's so many different fates that need to be either shown or highlighted or mentioned or something. There's so many characters that are, will they, won't they survive and stuff. So even in episode 10, as we'll get into, that sort of stuff was happening,
Yeah.
So, no, it was good. It was good. And so we start off something very weak coming through.
Yeah. That's it.
And they're just like, right, the time might have come.
Yeah, that's sort of it, isn't it? And then obviously need to meet up with our little insider. And it's quite a nice little exchange with the two of them. With I don't know, like he felt a bit more panicked, didn't he? Lutheran, this time round, he didn't seem his confident self. I felt.
Yeah, I think
with this
that
opening scene.
Yeah, I think that carried on a little bit from episode 9. I think we were getting to see the frayed edges a little bit. And then now, a year later, I think he realises that he's not really kind of in control or the top dog anymore. So Yeah, that definitely came through. I've got to say, just I don't know if you noticed on your travels online or anything, but a lot of people were speculating that Clea might be Leia,
Oh, really?
right? And then in that opening scene where they're sort of like, okay, the signal's coming through, and we might this might be kind of the end. There was a shot of her that really, like, I was like, if you just squinted a little bit, she could be a young Leia.
Could be a young there, yeah.
And then later on, she's doing her hair and she's like putting like kind of a semi bun in, and I was like, no, they're not, are they? Surely not.
Yeah.
But obviously, the flashbacks take that completely out. But yeah, he goes. So Luthen gets summoned by Lonnie Young, not undercover ginger fella anymore.
No.
Learned his name,
No.
and he's
got his name now.
He's basically watched the Blu-ray of Rogue One because he's like gabbling on about like all the important plot points from Rogue One.
Yeah, literally in words. Scarif, Death Star.
Yeah, Galen Erso.
Yeah.
It was great, wasn't it? But it was good to see the facade of the green energy program coming down finally.
Yeah. That green energy. So it's about weapons.
It's been tumbled.
That's it. No, I thought this was a really good meeting. Again, we're straight into it, aren't we? We sort of have the him really panicked about sort of his family needs a way out. He's obviously seen some really big information, and sort of Lutheran's like doesn't sort of believe him at first, but then sort of then goes, okay, this might be quite big. Yeah, I can get you out of it, no problem. And obviously Lutheran just does a Lutheran at the end of the conversation. But yeah, it's quite a good conversation, isn't it? And the fact that he's been spying on her, and because obviously 2 years of sort of spying on and then find out all this information, And I mean, this again, this couple of episodes especially, like just the inspying on the inspying on the like, and like she must know as well that like, because she's been spying on her boyfriend, obviously previous episodes, and she must know people are looking after her. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, she's not thinking there's a rebel right next to her. You know what I mean? But like, but still, you think it'd be a bit more secure in the Death Star, Scarif.
Yeah, I totally thought to myself by the end of the series, I was like, even within the rebellion, there's spies amongst spies, and it's like,
yeah. It's just so paranoid on both sides, isn't it?
Yeah, no one trusts anyone. Actually, not.
Like it's not. Yeah, even that's not as we knew anyway from Rogue One, like the Alliance. But even within the conversations around the desk, are just like they don't trust each other.
Yeah.
And there's sort of some sort of hierarchy going on. But it's anyway, it was a good meeting on the river, little bench.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even hide. I mean, you think about season 1, they were like the bottom of Coruscant, you know what I mean? Right in the fucking planet core, where they used to be. Now they're just like, fuck it. It's me outside the Senate. Me outdoors.
I know a nice little park bench we can meet up at.
Yeah, you can always say you're buying a statue.
There's a geezer selling pretzels down there. Delicious.
But yeah, it definitely had a kind of paranoid edge to it, and there's a really good conversation. And obviously, like I said, he'd done the deed, and then Lutheran then meets up with his sidekick and sort of tells her, because he's in a rush now. You know what I mean? He realizes that they're on him.
That's it. So they meet on one of the many stairwells on Coruscant that we've been introduced to. And he's just like, right, Clea, like Galen Erso, super weapon, Scarif, Kyber crystal, and she's just like, right, yeah, and he's like, repeat it back, right, okay, go.
I'll do the communication.
Yeah, and she's like, no, I'll do it. And he's like, because he knows, he's like, no, this is if he's only found out about this yesterday and he's this paranoid, they're going to be on it big time. Yeah. So he's like, I'll go back. And then he pours some sort of like, it looks like mercury or something, doesn't it? But it's some kind of acid onto the radio console.
Yeah.
So he's starting to burn that. And then the old doorbell goes.
Ding dong. Who's that?
Who's that then? We're not open, are we?
And we start off with the character that we always love. Hello! There he is. And she's like, "Oh hi! I can't believe I've been past this shop so many times. Never popped in to say hi."
It was like a complete reverse of everything that Luthen has been doing in the past. So it's just like, so how long have you known for? And what's going to happen next? That's a wonderful piece you've got there, by the way. Where did you get it from? I'm not scared of you. It's like, hold on a minute, he's flipped it.
He keeps flipping it, yeah.
Yeah.
But again,
That's
it's
great.
quite a good scene because you're like, again, we're straight into it, aren't we? You know, like she's finally caught up with him, and you know, her being her sort of, as we find out again after this scene, like she's just so obsessed with these people and just trying to get them and found some even though she's not her thing at all.
Yeah. It was wicked that she had the Imperial Pathway machine that she brought out to show him, and like, obviously the penny dropped then, didn't it? And I was like, that's a nice touch to hark back to series 1.
To the first episode, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think it's the first couple of episodes, isn't it? That's what they're using to sell to Luthen, basically.
Yeah, that's how they all meet up.
Yeah, no, that was really good. And then he's just like, he knows he's been rumbled now. And then I like the way that like Dedra did it. You know, she was like, she went in on her own. She really wanted the moment, but that kind of was her downfall at the end of it by doing it all on her own. And then as we find out later on, she's been working this whole year to get into that point, but she's not supposed to be working on the Access project anymore, is she? So
exactly, yeah,
that was pretty bad. Did you notice the knife that Luthen pulled out at the beginning?
No, I didn't know what was it. I didn't know he sort of referenced it.
Yeah, he called it a bleeder, which I thought was quite an interesting sort of in-universe way of saying a knife to start with. Thought that was quite nice. But it had like a little carving on the handle, and it looked like Plo Koon.
Oh, okay.
So I'm guessing it's from like his home planet or something.
Ah, right.
Yeah, like a ceremonial knife.
I always try to look at the things in the background to see if there's anything really obvious, like a fucking lightsaber. Get like the blade, like green, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, have a look at this lightsaber. No, it's always like some sort of antique, but you know, like if there's anything obvious, because I think in the first season there was like a battle droid in there or something. You know what I mean? Like it's quite random, but I haven't noticed anything anything too obvious yet. But in this season.
And he and obviously he actually says the word rebellion as well, isn't he? He's like, the rebellion isn't here anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is it. Everyone's unmasked now, and they know who he is, sort of thing. And then obviously Deirdre's giving it the old, I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. And he's just standing there with his back to her, and then she gets distracted by the smoke coming out, and he obviously does the deed and stabs himself up with the bleeder.
Yeah, well, again, that was quite an interesting, because again, he knew that it was up, you know, and to act sort of that quickly, you know.
Yeah,
it sort of goes back to his speech, you know, like he done in the sort of season 1, you know, giving everything up and sacrificing, and he's done that.
Totally. And they did the show creators did allude to the fact that in these last 3 episodes we'd find out a bit about Luthen's past and stuff, and in this episode we start getting some flashbacks, don't we, which were quite nifty. Yeah,
because obviously then she sees him getting sort of stretchered out, doesn't she, Clara, and obviously it then sort of, does it go back? The flashbacks, then it has the flashback where he's looking really young. So I didn't quite understand, is he sort of Imperial then, or was he just normal?
I'm not too clear.
It didn't look like he was in any uniform, obviously.
No, but then the security people on Ferrix were like kind of like a sort of like a local security force, weren't they? But then they kind of had to not report back, but the Empire kind of kept tabs on what they were doing and stuff, and they probably asked for reports. So I don't know if it was something like that, but he was a sergeant. I caught that.
Yeah,
sergeant, and then obviously he's having a bit of, he's shell shocked or something, because he's obviously just like, it's sitting in the ship avoiding the action, being like, make it stop.
Yeah, and sort of talking to himself, I can't make it stop.
Yeah, and then obviously we get the old POV shot, and it's you know, it kind of feels like we're just spying on him and learning about him, but it's actually a POV from another character. So it's like, oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it was quite nice for it to sort of do that because it didn't really need to. Because you know, out of the two characters, they've sort of been left behind, like you said, and it's very much all on the, you know, like we didn't go into Saw Gerrera's details again. You know what I mean? Like it was very much they spent a long time on that sort of flashback in, and obviously him going to the hospital and sort of the relationship between the two of them, the father and daughters. It says.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? I think in one of the flashbacks when they're doing some bartering on that forest planet, and then like the woman's like, "Oh, is that your daughter?" And he's just like, "Yeah." And then as they walk off, she's like, "Am I your daughter then?" And he's like, "When it's useful."
Yeah, exactly. But then, so so that was quite good. A couple of flashbacks, and then cuts back to the hospital where obviously Deirdre's like obsessed with like, do not do anything with this hospital. Do not. This guy is. I need him alive. I need him alive.
And I want him alive. No disintegrations.
And then in comes, she's sort of dressed up, and you think, oh, she's going to go for it. She's going to kill him.
Yeah, well, this is it, isn't it? Because I think going back to that conversation they had on the stairwell, and he was just like, "Look, when the time comes, you know what you've got to do." And I think she kind of emotes from internally that she knows that if anything happens to him, he's going to commit suicide. But if it goes wrong, she needs to step up, and then she clearly does. But yeah, Deirdre's got like, you know, the whole corridor shut off, and no one's allowed up to the. I think it was the 19th floor. I think it was like no one's allowed up there and everything, and that. Clay is just like, right, I know what I've got to do here. The old infiltration bit.
That's it. And then this is classic. It's classic. This is what, whenever there's a, you know, sort of this rebel breaking into Imperial base type thing, it's always great, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like we've seen it probably quite a lot of times now. You know what I mean? Obviously from the original New Hope, but you know, it's just a classic plot. You know, breaking into so many people, and just finding it, like the fact that she like takes that old woman alien, you know, Nuns on the Run style. And then like it was like, oh, and he was just like, where you go, dear, you know, type thing, and dresses up and causes distractions with the explosion. It's all from his book, obviously, you know, which you know they keep flashing back, and I think is that the scene. It's a bit later when they're sort of what looks like Naboo, when they're in a restaurant.
I presumed it was Naboo. It looked very Naboo-ish.
It did, didn't it? And they sort of take two sort of tank things out. That is a bit later anyway. But yeah, so you know, it was all sort of classic behaviour.
Yeah,
where
I quite enjoyed the like the Cockney bouncer who stopped her when she got out the lift. Where are you going, love?
Yeah.
Are they trainers you're wearing?
Yeah, you can't come in. Yeah, no, very much. And yeah, some she was shooting, some she was, and then there was an element where she sort of pulled this stormtrooper. I thought, oh, she's gonna dress up as a stormtrooper, but I got excited. But no, she stayed in her gear, and she sort of just found him and cut the oxygen off.
That's it. I was kind of on the edge of my seat a little bit, thinking, is that going to be enough? Like, surely she should put a bolt in his brain or something just to make 100%.
Double make sure, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Not to be too morbid or anything, but obviously that was the plan, and she sort of unhooked him from the breathing device or whatever. But I was just like, is that enough? You know?
Yeah.
But it turned out,
because we do know the relationship now, like the history, then it makes sense why she was obviously very sad, and you know, sort of, and you sort of see the little machine sort of beeping down, and you know, and yeah, it was good character stuff again.
It was, yeah. I'm pretty sure that wasn't Naboo. If it wasn't, then I mean, God knows where it was. But that whole scene was really that was the point where Luthen was just like, look, if you're going to do this, you need to do it. And he gives her the detonator, doesn't he? So they've obviously got something set up, and he's like, if you're going to do this, then you need to prove to me that you can do it, sort of thing. And you know, all the hate that you're storing up. Oh yeah, I think it was after the the flashback with the firing squad and stuff. And he's like, look, she's like, aren't we going to do something? And he's like, yeah, we are. We've got to lose and lose and lose and lose to eventually win. And he's like, all that hate that you feel, like store it up and bank it and hide it. And when the time is right, then it will come in useful, you know? I was like, that's pretty powerful. But just going back to the Naboo bit, when they're sitting there talking, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, that's actually Palpatine's home planet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go to the source and cause a bit of ag. Where's it going to get noticed the most? You know,
they're under the Imperial flag.
Yeah, and he was at that whole bit where he was like, "Look at me, look at me, look at me," and now turn your head and look at what's happened. Do you know what I mean? He's like teaching, and then it's kind of intercutting with her sneaking around the hospital, trying to blend in, like not looking at people or like, you know, pushing buttons on certain things and everything, just to blend in and not look conspicuous. And I was like, "Oh yeah, cool."
Yeah, no, it was very good. I really enjoyed that ep. I thought it was, again, it had a bit of pace to it and just completely unexpected, all the sort of flashbacks and their story development.
Yeah, that was really good. I thought
that at all. Out of the two characters, I just wasn't expecting them to have more story development. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I knew we were going to get something on Luthen, but I didn't think Clea would be as involved, and I didn't think it would be in episode 10 either. I thought he'd survive up until maybe the end or something. But yeah, he's long departed. But what a legacy he's left.
Totally, that's it. Well, good stuff. Well, we'll do another episode on the other two, so please stay tuned in. We thought we'd keep these quite short and sharpish.
Yeah, indeed. We've sat down and watched them all, but we're going to break them up for your listening pleasure. So yeah, do get involved. Let us know what you thought of episode 10, or indeed the whole series now that it's out, on Twitter at UK Star Wars Pods, or just search Code Clearance Blue wherever you watch your videos or get your podcasts. But yeah, for now, on behalf of Paolo and myself, we'll say, may the force be with you all.
Starting our approach, deactivate the security shield.
Security deflective shield will be deactivated when we have confirmation of your code transmission. Stand by.